23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18.
Shut the fuck up.
Five, four, three, two, one.
I think from now on, we'll just have you count us down. What's going on, everybody? We're back for another episode of Pickin Corners. I am one of your hosts, Tyler, joined as always by Mikey Truth. We have a very special guest today, someone who I just met about 5 minutes ago. Evan, former member of the Duquesne men's lacrosse team. Evan.
The people's champ.
Hey, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody. The floor is yours. Don't say anything stupid. We're live.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show today. Mike's been telling me a lot about this and just kind of how much of an impact it's had on the game and viewership. So always happy to be here. Always happy to give my input on what's going on. Hopefully I can be a recurring guest in the future, but we'll see how this dry run goes.
Hey, listen,
don't
trial by fire, man. This is the Pickin Corners way. Trial by fire.
This is your interview right here.
This is your interview. This is your tryout. Millions of people watch this every day, so yeah, you have to be able to be up to snuff. But why don't you just give us a little background on who you are and what you're all about, man?
Yeah, sure. So my elevator pitch, I guess. I met Mike my freshman year at Duquesne. We started playing club lacrosse together that year and played for about give or take 4 or 5 years, depending on how you look at it.
Ran it back a few times.
Maybe your lap always helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, never hurts. I just graduated from Duquesne actually like a month ago. I was in pharmacy school there, so.
Ooh, pharmacy. Actually, one of my high school teammates went to pharmacy there. Funny enough.
What was his name?
Jason Roberts. I don't know if he stayed through, but shout out to Ja Rule.
You never know. Well, I'm sure he's a good guy if he's friends with you.
Listen up.
But yeah, man.
Easy
I mean,
treat.
any other background about me? I guess just like I'm from New Jersey, so take that how you will.
Dirty Jersey.
Yeah, and right now I'm just repping the pork chop platoon in ULAX Pittsburgh. So
love that.
Porkers.
North or South Jersey?
Central, actually.
Oh,
right in the middle.
Central Jersey exists. That's the myth.
Yep. No, it's not a myth at all.
It exists. It exists.
Dude, it's just funny because like half of my college either is from New York or New Jersey, where I went, and like there was always this big debate on if Central Jersey was a real place.
I mean, pork roll or Taylor ham. What's the right answer?
Oh yeah, what's the ruling there? Pork roll or Taylor ham?
It's pork roll.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't pork roll
100%
like
of the time
the actual type of meat, and Taylor ham is like a brand, right?
What is a pork roll? Where do you think the pig? You pull up a picture of a pig and tell me where you
I don't know, but you put them on
is.
a breakfast sandwich, that shit slaps. I don't know what they do.
I agree. It's really just Canadian bacon at the end of the day, but
it's like ham? Like
yeah, it's just a slice of ham, basically.
Evan, what is it? You Mr. Expert?
For any of the viewers that don't know or haven't heard of pork roll, the best way to describe it is it's a combination of every breakfast meat that you could want on your sandwich, and it's just that much better than bacon alone, sausage alone, or what
Honestly,
have you.
Would you say it's actually closer to Spam than anything else?
No, Spam is trash.
Spam is
I don't know. I feel like it's pretty close to the same thing.
No, I don't think so. It doesn't come in a can.
And that's that's its downfall, I guess.
Dude,
I think that's a defining factor of Spam. It's just processed meat in a can. Pork roll is not
all
even
of the leftover
close to
parts
the
of
same
the
level.
pig just jammed into a can.
I hear Spam is fire. I never had it, but
I don't know. Pork roll, dude. Pork roll is fire. I remember my freshman year of college. Somebody would literally left a thing on their door, and there's just a poster that says pork roll or Taylor ham, and just let people like sign their name on either side. It's a big thing. Also, like obviously going to school and still in PA was the Wawa Sheets debate. Well, you're from Pittsburgh,
debate.
so
it's just Sheets. Sheets is the right answer.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, listen. Here's my diplomatic take on Wawa versus Sheets. Ready? So, like, if you're like midday, like you want like lunch, and you want to like, have like a nice meal, I would say, dude, Wawa sandwiches are second to none. Wawa hoagies slap. But if you're stumbling out of the bar and like you're on the way home, like you would pick up some sheets, that's the late night move 10 times out of 10.
I'm probably going to have to agree with you just because Wawa hoagies on top of the mac and cheese is an incredible combination. But there's been plenty of times I've been in Pittsburgh and Sheets has hit on a different level. So it's two different animals, I think.
Yeah.
But you got to go for the right things at each place.
Dude, Sheets goes hard. Dude, mozzarella stick, the mac and cheese bites are undefeated. Undefeated.
Glad we got to the bottom of that.
Yeah. Let's talk. So, Evan, what position did you play at Duquesne?
Goalie.
Dude, what's the play? Like, I feel like goalie at like the club level, we're like, yeah, like obviously club it matters, but like it's still like I would say like goalie in a men's league team and then goalie at a club lax or just like club lax.
Dude, goalie was hype.
Listen,
it's at a different level,
dude.
It's at a different level in club ball.
I feel like that sucks though. Like you're still getting just shelled.
No, I mean all roads lead to men's league, so there's nothing you can do about that. But when I started playing goalie in high school, because I didn't pick up a lacrosse stick until my freshman year, when a couple of my friends that I met there were like, "Hey man, we don't have a goalie for the lax team. If like you want to do it." So like 2 days before the tryout, I was literally Googling and watching YouTube videos about how to play goalie, and I kind of stuck with it all throughout high school. It was mad fun, and then once we came to Duquesne, we started playing. I got snubbed from a Division II All-American freshman year. I'm still mad about it.
Oh, dude.
I know. We got played, dude. We got played. You were the best goalie without a doubt in the club ranks.
I will still never forget.
Weirdly enough, we had like 5 goalies on our team too.
Wait, that's like a Division I roster.
It was like the worst goalies. It was like the worst problem to have because also like maybe a couple of them were like could play some other positions, but most of them were pretty much useless outside of being a goalie.
Like you have to if you have that many goalies, you have to see if they're good at anything else, just so that they can actually contribute.
Well, who else did we have that year? We had Shane,
Vinny, Martin, Alex,
and me. I think it was the 4 of us. But Shane had never played lacrosse before. He was just a hockey goalie, and he was like, "Fuck it, man, I want to play on the team."
He was bad at that. He was really bad at hockey too. So
walked on to a club lax team. Never played lax before.
He wanted the gear, and he was in my fraternity. Really good guy. Shout out Shane, miss him.
Ty's seen the gear. It's fresh,
dude. Your gear is fresh.
Yeah, we were a good looking team. Not good looking guys, but a good looking team.
Listen, I mean, I have mad respect. Listen, that was like my full transparency. That was my college plan initially, was to just go to a big school and play club because I wanted to go to nursing school and
played yourself. You played yourself.
Listen,
congrats, you played yourself.
That was the plan because I was like, I'm not really I'm nothing amazing. So let me just, try that. And then my senior year of high school, got recruited by Misericordia University, big D3 powerhouse in Dallas, Pennsylvania. We were good though. We went conference playoffs every year, but just kind of wound up there. I was able to do nursing and lacrosse at the same time, but not really. Cause lacrosse was just a job. So I had to give that up for many reasons, and then just rode out as a NART for the rest of the year. But
ours is more like one of those internships where you only go once a week. That's what ours was like.
Yeah, 6 a.m. lifts. And it's for the love of the game because obviously I wasn't getting paid to play lacrosse. All academic money. But yeah, I realized how I could have been Mikey's made me realize that I could have been a club weapon, but then also wouldn't have met my girlfriend, humble brag, if I didn't go to Misericordia. So there's that.
A fair point. Yeah. Well, other than that, though, you would have been you've been swarming in girls, so it wouldn't have mattered. But as a club weapon, you would have been surrounded by women at all times.
Listen.
Did you guys play against Wilkes at all?
Yeah, we smoked Wilkes. We demolished Wilkes.
They were the only school that recruited me that I was considering going
Well,
to.
good job not going there.
Yeah, they had a pharmacy program, and I was like, do I really want to go to
Yeah.
pharmacy school and play lacrosse in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, in the middle of nowhere?
Listen,
No.
Wilkes-Barre is a
want to
hub.
go to
No.
pharmacy
Northeast,
school and
listen.
play lacrosse on the bluff.
Wilkes-Barre is, listen, I went to school in Dallas, which is like 10 minutes from Wilkes-Barre. It's like a town, like the towniest of Pennsylvania towns. Like, but
can call it
downtown
what it is.
Wilkes-Barre is actually a
dump.
good time. Because like Wilkes and Kings are like both downtown and their campuses touch each other essentially. Like and they had some bars down there, so like it was a good time. That's where like if you wanted to go to like the bar, you'd go to Wilkes. Like there's no
Ubers out there. You were definitely walking.
No, you can walk. It was like you had to go down the highway. You couldn't walk anywhere in Dallas, PA, dude. Like you really like
the last anybody ever saw you.
Dude, Misericordia's campus, you can see the other side of campus from wherever you are. It's like just the dorms and academic buildings.
Damn.
It's like,
yeah. All I gotta say is you missed out, and that's it. That's it.
I don't
overruled.
Wouldn't trade my Duquesne experience for anything.
Oh,
yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for anything, dude. It was what a time to be alive. The heyday.
You know, I could always go to grad school, and then maybe I can play club then too.
There you go.
Hey, go for it. They're getting the program rolling again this year. I hear there's a lot of buzz on campus about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing that.
Who's in the conference? Like, who do you play?
IUP, Penn State.
Yeah, that's where I would have gone if I didn't
go to Kutztown. What? Who else? Ship. Some of the Ohio University.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a couple other like random ass Ohio schools. I mean, those are all the ones that we played because they're just close. They were too lazy to drive like really far. Some of the groups would drive to like Louisville and Kentucky to play. Like, we weren't going to do that. We barely were waking up for the games. We're no shot were we going to drive that far. We had like a $5 budget, dude. We'd have to sleep in our cars.
I mean,
we made it to every game.
Even at the D3 level, we still had to fundraise, bro.
Yeah.
Like we had a spring break trip where we went down to Florida and played. Like we played Emmanuel, which was like from Boston. We demolished them. And we played St. John Fisher, who's now like a top.
Yeah, they're sick now. They were ass back then.
No, they weren't. They were like just getting to the point where they are now. Like they were like in that transition where like we had beaten them like the year prior in a close one, and then went down there again and lost. Like they were a good team. Like, and then they just kept getting better from there. Like literally after we played them, they all of a sudden became like ranked. So like, you know, that's what it is.
Well, speaking of St. John Fisher, Whip Snakes versus Chaos.
Wait, Water Dogs Crone? First game.
Was that?
You're looking at the right week? Whip Snakes play Atlas this week, son.
I was looking at the first week.
You dummy.
Yeah, I was looking at the first week.
What are you talking about?
Like, I'm reviewing the first and second week.
Oh, are we? Okay.
just a quick breeze by of them.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, we had to get a full audio tour of Misericordia's campus. So.
And I got to listen to you two reminisce about playing club lacrosse.
So we killed a lot of the time we had.
The club lag circle jerk is now over. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Whips Chaos, that game. I mean, I don't know.
That's just first game jitters.
Huh?
That's just like first game jitters of the season. Like
we don't know what the chaos will be until they get all their guys back.
Yeah.
Because like all of them, that's actually going to be a really great game. And it's game 3, the final game of the NLL championship is on Saturday. Buffalo and
sold out.
Colorado. Yeah, 19,000 people are going to be there.
That's electric. I'll watch it.
I watched the game 1, and it was literally like watching like a Stanley Cup. Like it had that kind of like feel.
Yeah,
like where people were banging against the boards, like the goal horn. But that's honestly electric when you think about it.
Absolutely. And
I'm sitting in the bar in LBI watching the game on my phone.
Oh, LBI guy. So
I went down to LBI a week ago with my family just to spend some time before I start residency in July. And I was putting a stupid amount of money on the Bandits to win. Thank God they won. Shout out Bandits. I love Buffalo. Great city. I need to make it up for a game soon.
Harris of the Northeast.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly the way to describe it.
I mean, in that first week, Atlas, dude, I am so glad. Listen, I became an Atlas fan because of the Hopkins connection the first year. And I just held on for dear life.
Guy.
No, listen, the first year I jumped on early. I was like, oh, these colors are sick. And they have Hopkins players. Let's go.
I heard you just bought that jersey last week.
I have the downstairs. I have a Kyle Hartzell Atlas jersey from the first year. So don't even say anything about
Times are tough.
I have certified proof of being a year one Atlas fan. And that was when everybody kind of hated the Atlas because it was like Paul and his friends, essentially.
Yeah, Scott Rogers, the world's largest toddler.
Yeah, dude. I mean, on paper they should have been the best team in the league. Like if you take each player individually, like it was half of Team USA, legit. Like
I know it was stacked. It was very clearly stacked.
You're like, oh, like this guy. They like this is like, oh, Duke. But here's half of the best players in the country all on one team. But yeah, I really like. I've said it week in and week out. I really like what Rubio has done. Where he pretty much imploded the team and changed the identity and got all these young guys. Yeah, and now their offense is on another planet. Jeff Teat is a dog. Chris Gray is they just look so good, and they make it look so easy.
Oh, I know. They're just a mismatch nightmare.
And then Cannons smack the Water Dogs. Chrome, listen, I was a Chrome down in the first 2 weeks. I think that Connor Farrell has like really improved his face-off game. And
I think he's still a huge liability.
Huh?
I think Farrell, he's gotten better at face-offs, but he's definitely a huge liability with that ball in his stick.
Well, that's like the one he scored before. It's just that like he is, dude. He played lacrosse in college off for fun.
Yeah,
he was a college linebacker who had
for post.
Yeah, who now they're D1.
I mean, just to see that transition though into the league, like he's definitely talented. Like you can see off the clamp, he's really quick. But then after he takes like a step or two, like. And if he wins the face-off, great. He can he's a big body, so he can get in the way. But I think every time I've watched him play, he's given up the ball right after the face-off, like at least 60% of the time. And I agree with Mike.
He has that one-handed scoop. Yeah, he tries to do that one-handed scoop that makes me want to scream at my high schoolers because that's what they do, and that's what I do, obviously. That's what I do in my men's league. But
he's a big body though. He's an athlete though. Like, he does like that Brazilian jiu-jitsu stuff. He's like an athlete.
Yeah,
I don't think that he's a face-off guy and Trevor Baptiste is a lacrosse player.
Yeah. No, I agree. He's definitely more of an athlete. I think he helps you better if you're losing faces because he's so athletic. He can, make it a scrum.
Yeah, and he's got a body pretty much 90% of the people off the ball.
Him winning faces is not like it's helpful, but it's not doing as much.
Well, I'm writing about it currently. Like, I think it's it's the combo of him winning 60% of the clamps and Scanoni saving like 70%.
Yeah, Scanoni's nice, big body in the goal.
Dude, they call him the hefty lefty, like the like the QB from Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean,
rest in peace.
He's a good goalie though. Like he gets the ball out quick. What is your opinion, Evan?
Dude, he's absolutely insane. I've loved watching him play this year. And just going into the first week of this season, I was definitely a Chrome doubter. I didn't think that they would have what it takes to kind of become a good team. And it's still early in the season, so we'll see if they can continue it. But if they keep playing the way they've been playing, what did he post? I think he posted like a 70%.
He was 70 on the dot.
Yeah, last week against the Redwoods. And I think that in part says a lot about where the Redwoods are at as a team, more so than where Chrome is. Chrome definitely has the offensive powerhouse with the addition of Wisnauskas and everybody else they've kept on the roster for the past 2 years. But I think as a Redwoods fan in particular, it's been really hard to watch the Redwoods play because they seem so disorganized and discombobulated. That I think Yeah, that played a lot into that score differential in week 2, being I think it was 12-3 to finish it out.
Yeah.
And I definitely still think that the first week of the PLL when the Chrome and Archers played, that was a lot more representative of what each team in this league is like and has to offer in terms of offensive, defensive transitions and just overall gameplay. That last Redwoods game was just god awful. And I wouldn't say that was a good win for Chrome because it was they didn't really play against anybody.
Yeah, that was a beatdown. The Redwoods have all the talent in the world. They actually remind me of the first year Atlas, where they're kind of midfield heavy, and they just cannot get anybody on the same page. They keep screwing things up in transition, which is where a team that is that fast and that athletic should excel.
It's they've the first year in the league, they went all the way to the championship. I feel like they've had this semi downward trend, which is weird, right? Because they've only gotten better players, right?
Right.
But I think that they may have almost every team has a lot of offensive talent, but they might not have the guys in the right spots. Maybe I can't describe it. You're having Jules Henningberg ring out of midfield, who's yes, he can do that very well, but he's a natural attackman. You have they almost have too many attackmen on their team. I don't know. It's just and then Miles Jones, he's great, but he's very all over the place. He can either play phenomenal or just horrible. You see
when he gets his mismatches, he's impossible to guard. But if he's not getting if he's not getting those, he is like a turnover machine. He is useless. And then Perkovic's sick, don't get me wrong, but if Miles can't get his matchups and draw slides, then Perk can't get his step downs.
Yeah.
And then Nakai is somewhat similar to Perk. Nakai's kind of in between both of them.
Way better with the ball, though.
Yeah.
Nakai, I would trust in dodging the pole versus those two, if we're being honest.
Yeah. He's an athlete. He's a great lacrosse player. And I know they want to make him more of a two-way mid, which I think he can be. Yeah. But you got to have I think they're better off. One of those teams that is weirdly enough better off running the transition instead of slowing it down all the time and trying to sub their guys on.
Yeah, they should just push it.
They have the athleticism to push it, and I think they should do that a little more because they're stagnant, and they're shooting 22%. From goals. So
and it doesn't help that Timmy T hasn't really been playing at the top of his game.
Yeah.
Oh, he's been bad. I think he's going to get replaced this week.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I mean, they have Jack Kelly as a backup. I mean, he's played for Team USA for however many years. When he stepped in last year for a little bit, he played lights out. I would not be shocked if they made that change going into this next game. Personally, my opinion on the Woods Chaos game coming up this weekend, I have backed Chaos spread every single week this year just to not be too extremely pleased, at least last weekend. The first week when they did cover against the Whip Snakes, but I did take Whip Snakes money line that game, so unfortunately that one hit. This week, I definitely still like Chaos plus 1.5.
Me too.
I don't know what you guys think about that.
I like it. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised that the Woods are still favored, but
it's crazy to me.
It may be, I don't know, maybe it's just the Chaos are still not at full strength, but still they have the right guys to play within their system. You know what I mean? Their system's very plug and play at this point because they just run a bunch of 2-man games and they have a very solid offensive identity to where they just put guys in when they need to.
Even when they had the athleticism and talent, they really weren't beating people with that athleticism and talent. They were just running that system and just
and their defense is also pretty solid.
Yeah, their defense
Newman has become a much better on-ball defender.
And Rowlett is just a beast.
Yeah, Rowlett's. Who's their third? Is it Johnny Surdick? No. Troy Ray's their LSM?
Well, it's Costabile, isn't it? Or is he technically LSM?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Surdick or Brett Kennedy.
Oh, he's nice. Brett Kennedy's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, and obviously, and then you have Blaze, who's the reigning
Yeah.
MVP of the league.
And you have Troy Ray, who is just
Yeah.
consistently.
I think that, yes, their offense is missing guys, but their defense is all there, right? Blaze is still in cage. They're playing decent. They made that game a game late against the Archer last week.
Well, and I think that's why no one has. I mean, I guess Archer's put up 17 on them, but no one's done what Chrome did to Redwoods, to the Chaos.
There's been
their defense is still intact.
Yeah, I mean the Atlas were on track to do that to the Redwoods, but the Redwoods put a couple in late.
Right, some garbage time stuff.
Yeah. I mean, what you got to, because obviously that score, you have to be scoring till the very end because that score differential is the tiebreaker.
Yeah,
which I honestly like because it makes
it makes tempers flare, which I like. I
think
it spices the game up.
If you're losing, you're like, okay, let's wrap it up and be ready for next week. It
keeps a better product on the field.
Yeah, because you have to play to the end. You want to try to do as much as you can to have that that better differential in the end of the season. I think Archers on speaking of them, they looked they looked better last week and more of what we expected of them. They have, I think their only offense that could, them and the Atlas offense, I feel are the top two in the league, and then there's everybody else, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I'll be curious once Zed is back with the Whip Snakes.
Yeah, but that's only yes, Zed is they're a large part of their team, but I feel they have enough guys to run without him.
They're gonna definitely have themselves. Yeah. Jay Carlson.
Dude, what an interesting guy, man.
What a beast.
You see Jay Carlson, beast. I mean, they could probably use one or two more midfielders. No, I shouldn't even say that because Brad Smith's great. Shannon Chuck's great. So I think they're all right. But they've been running Carlson, Rambo, and who they've been playing against? Connor Kirst. I think that's honestly a good rotation. And the fact that they were just decided, okay, now let's play against the Water Dogs towards the end and just won anyway.
I know. Poor Water Dogs. Yeah, it's still crazy though that any of these teams could turn it on any week and beat any other team.
I feel the Whips. I feel it was the same thing last year where they're not really trying that hard right now.
Yeah,
it's they're just I shouldn't say that, but they know they can keep a little bit in the tank for later in the season.
That game was there was 3 minutes where it was just the sloppiest back and forth I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Did you see Earhart slide to Sowers?
Yeah. Which now Sowers is out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Water Dogs are riddled with injuries this week. They have Sabia, who is, I think he's not out definitively yet, but Sowers, DiNapoli, and Withers are all out for the Water Dogs. So, I mean,
but they could. Oh, they don't have a Fogo then.
I forget. Yeah. I saw something on Twitter that said they were looking to pick somebody up. I forget exactly who it was.
Yeah, because Courier was taking the faceouts at the end of the game, and he was
he could do whatever you want him to do. Honestly,
I know, but he wasn't winning them because he knew he wasn't going to win the clamp.
But Joe Nardella, bro, that's not his fault.
That's why I do wish there were two more teams because I would like to see the talent level broken up a little bit. And I also like to see all these fringe guys get signed week in and week out. I've been enjoying seeing randos. When is Woodall going to get a chance? Because there's only going to be more and more.
I feel bad.
There's only going to be more and more injuries. They're playing at such a high level.
Player pool every week the player pool should just be their own team.
I know there should be a wild card where they just have to play the player pool.
The player pool should just be their own team every week.
That would be absolutely electric. I would love to watch that.
The PLL players. That's just a team.
I just think that 2 more teams would be enough.
I think within the next 5 years, we'll definitely see them expand the league a whole lot more. It's only been 3 years since they have kind of started up, and we've already had the addition of the Cannons with the crossover from the MLL. and just
I bet the
with the amount of
Bayhawks
viewers,
come next.
That's
that would
actually a
be
great
cool.
question.
Yeah.
What MLL team would you like to see like transformed into a PLL? I want to see the Riptide so bad. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
The sweetest colorway in all of ever. Period. The teal and the orange with the shark on that thing is chef's kiss. I would pay a lot of money to have them as a team. Riptide LC, bro. Come on.
I would love to see the Machine and the Bayhawks.
I think that,
and maybe the Outlaws. The Outlaws.
Yeah, I
cool.
think that the Outlaws,
the Outlaws probably will. The Outlaws probably will come over. I bet them and the Bayhawks will probably be the next two. Yeah. They're definitely going to tap into those MLL resources.
Yeah, do you think that they like try to bring in more, try to reuse those names, or do you think they try to go off on like brand new? I think they probably do a mix of both.
Yeah, probably mix of both. They might just keep. They might keep doing where they bring in like one old one.
That's what I was gonna say.
One, yeah.
They'll just like okay, here we'll bring in a brand new name, brand new color scheme this year, and then the year after that we'll like bring the Bayhawks back or something like that.
Right.
So honestly, interesting. See, they have the rights to all the old names, so they can bring out whatever they want.
Well, there's a lot of cool. And there's also a lot of great players that are sitting in the player pool that I would love to see playing. So I hope they add more teams maybe next year.
My hope and my dream is to one. It's so silly, but once again see Mark Matthews play outdoor.
That'd be great.
Like he's one of my favorite players of all time. I was hoping that he'd get picked up when they merged, but he didn't.
It's like asking John Grant Jr. to come out of retirement and just run it back one more time.
I wouldn't be shy. He just left Hopkins, so I wouldn't be surprised if they pick him up as a coach.
I could see it.
That would be pretty cool. I think out of any of the teams that he would fit in best with, I have to say Atlas. I mean, I know that's just because of like the Hopkins connection they have there, but after the first year when the Atlas coaching staff, I don't know exactly how he left. But one of my old coaches, Rick Beardsley,
he was your coach?
He's at Bergen Catholic now.
Yeah, he
a humble
coached my club team for like 2 years. Great guy, like really helped us out, and helped us develop a ton. I mean, he reminded us every practice. He's like a 3-time All-American from Syracuse with like 2 rings. But so I know you said you were a big Atlas supporter from day one, but I was kind of rooting for them initially just because of him. But then he parted ways with them for whatever reason. But I definitely think that John would fit in well with like their kind of style of play there. There's like heavy on the offensive end of the field, but they also have like, they have Trevor at the faceoff X. That's always like a pretty good factor for them just to control the ball. But I mean, and who knows? Like, we'll know what happens like after the end of this season. But like that's just a fever dream for now to see him even be involved in the league at all.
Yeah, that's great. The other team I could see, I think he'd be a weapon as the Chaos as offensive coordinator. If you think about that, like
big body bully ball.
Yeah. Dude, the fact that he scored game winners shooting it around the world, and just scoring. I remember the one when his last year or two he played for the Machine. He scored 10 goals at 40 years old. He scored 10 goals in a game.
Dude.
I like everything you just said. And the Rick Beardsley humble brag was a great slide in. What was it like playing for Rick Beardsley? I gotta know.
Honestly, for the club program that I played for, he took it very seriously, as he takes everything. But his biggest thing with us when we were all in high school, he's like, I want all of you to play somewhere in college if that's what you want to do, or even just to kind of get better. And my biggest thing with playing club ball was really just to use that to better myself for the high school seasons. And then if anything fell my way with college, which as I've talked to you guys, I decided to play club at the end of the day just because I wanted to have a semi-normal college experience. Plus, it was pretty hard to find pharmacy schools that also had reputable lacrosse teams other than Wilkes. But I mean, playing for him in general was always exciting. He would scream at us day in and day out, but it only motivated you to get better.
Yo, I bought this. Our team got all our shirts from him, from his company.
Yeah, I know he has the hookup with a lot of Under Armour gear, so
Yeah,
that's always like it's nice.
he's the man. He hooked it
What
up.
was the name of your? Did you play for Turnpike? Who'd you play for?
United.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah, the major club programs back in the day in like 2013, 2014 were like United, Leading Edge, South in New Jersey. I know a couple kids that played for Turnpike, but those are really like the major three, I feel like. But I mean, things have probably changed now. I've been out of that scene for years at this point.
The club scene, like from what I've come to understand, is not what it was when like we were like coming up. It's not like it's it's a group of guys like from your area. Like I know like guys from me and Mike's area would like go down to Philly and play for Dukes and like Headstrong
or
or
NXT
or things like that. But that's still like at least you're representing Pennsylvania. Like Long Island Express became like Team 91 or something, and now they're getting guys from like Cali and Florida just to play for a weekend just so they can win.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like that's kind of messed up. Like I feel like when club was just like it's the best guy, best group of guys from your area. Like, I played. Did you play for? Did you play for Dogs or Blue Mountain?
Mike?
Dogs.
Yeah.
Folded. R.I.P.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
When my club team, like, we used to win tournaments when I played for them, and now they're apparently they're terrible. Like because like it's they still want to get that local group, but everybody else is trying to get on a national scale, which kind of I don't know. That's a whole different topic, but I that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, well, let's look ahead to the slate in Long Island this weekend.
Yeah, on
Speaking of Long Island
Express,
you
don't want to get us jumped here. On Long Island, you don't want to get us canceled by a whole island.
On the island.
On the island, baby. So starting off 6 p.m. tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern. Chrome minus 1.5 against the Water Dogs, over under 22. Those injuries you stated, Evan, are very intriguing, especially Withers being out against somebody like Connor Farrell.
Mm-hmm.
The Chrome, looking back, whenever they've been 1.5 point favorites, have never covered any game that they've been favored. Like they're great as the dog team, but if they're favored, they don't cover. I don't know how to feel. Like I think that like Farrell's gonna give them a lot of possessions, but the main thing is just a goalie. Like, what's your opinion on DeLuca, the Water Dogs goalie? Like,
I think DeLuca's a beast. I regardless of his status as a starter or backup, I think he is an absolute monster in the cage, and he just takes up so much space. And he did not have the best week. I don't remember exactly what his save percentage was for the first
30.
Yeah, when he was playing. But I think the biggest factor going into this game is really just the injury report. The Water Dogs made it clear after last week when they put up a valiant performance against the Whip Snakes, like that they're a team to be reckoned with for sure, and they can kind of come back against anybody. And they were winning most of the game anyway. But just based alone off of like the injury report and the way that Chrome's offense has been running, I really like Chrome money line. I know that it started out at the beginning of the week. It was even minus 115 for each team, and now it's dropped in Chrome's favor. Last I checked, they were minus 140.
That's not bad though. Like if you can get like anything minus 150 in this league, if you can get a money line and like that minus one, like anything like minus like 160, 150 and below, like that's okay. If we're being honest, just because of how many 1-goal games there are.
Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but I've changed up my betting strategies for the league this year versus years past. For the first 2 years of the league, I bet every single under and spread dogs for every game because it came close for a lot of pretty much every game, and each team was at basically the same level of performance. And that was also back when we had better lines. Now you're not going to get anything more than 2.5 at this point. And that ended up being pretty, I wouldn't say lucrative overall, but I at least made my money back and had some fun doing it. This year, I've kind of gone off on a little bit more of a branch and started betting a lot of more money line bets and just really staring at the board a lot longer each week to really determine what I think.
It's so hard with only 4 games a week, and they're all the same teams.
Yeah.
So
and at any time they can just figure it out or fall apart.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, okay, well, it's like you want to pick the trends. I love trends when I bet, especially in football. I love trends, my favorite thing in the world. But like, the guys on the field don't care about what happened last year, the year before that. Like, I don't know. It's just tough, But I, prior to this, was liking the Water Dogs plus 1.5 to like Chrome to win, Water Dogs to cover type business. But with all those injuries, the only really concerning one to me is Withers. If he's not going to be playing against Farrell, that's a problem. If Scanoni and Farrell, Farrell goes 60+% again. Scanoni, you don't even have to save 70 as a goalie. Like reasonably, if you're saving like, would you say like 60 and above, you're having like it's a really positive impact on your game when you say Evan.
Yeah, in the PLL, I would say 60%. And in 50%, you're just like net zero. Like you're not influencing the game at all.
I was gonna say like 50%, like net zero, like you're not swaying, like, you're not influencing your team to win or lose. But if you're hitting that 60, 50, 55, 60 and up range, you're erasing your defensive mistakes and you're keeping your team in it. So I might have to change my mind at Chrome money line because I think that they can maybe get a 1-2 goal win. I don't know. It's tough. I don't know how to feel.
I think Chrome.
I might be misquoting this here, but I believe this is a Paul Carcaterra quote where he said that you want your save percentage and your face-off percentages to add up to above 100. So as long as Farrell keeps going and like kind of gives Chrome the possession and they can get in the offensive end, I think their attack are going to go to town on the Water Dogs and their defense. I think they're going to really exploit the goaltender situation with Ward being out in the NLL championship right now. And if Scanoni keeps playing the way he's been playing, man, if he keeps standing on his head, I don't want to say this game's going to be a blowout by any means, but I think Chrome come away with this one cleanly.
Yeah, I think the money line is a safe play just in case.
Yeah.
It's just in case. Like plus 1.5 is also just in case type of play. But if we are dealing with these injuries, that the face off man is a significant one, and then Sabia is one of your better cover guys, right?
I feel like with the face off guys too is like, to an extent, I do think Fogos are like a dime a dozen. Like you can find a lot of good Fogos. But with that being said, you don't know if they're the right Fogo until you try it. So it either works out or it fails miserably. Just conflicting styles.
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue. They're gonna with they have 4 or 5 injuries. Like 1 or 2, you get a couple random guys in there that maybe like just shock everybody. Nobody even knows how to guard them or whatever. 5 guys is like in your lineup is it's a different team. The chemistry's not there.
Yeah, I'm going to lean Chrome money line until I see what the roster looks like for the Dogs to play. But
yeah, be curious to see who they pick up.
But I'm gonna right as it stands right now, I'm gonna give a nice lean to the Chrome money line.
Ooh,
I
keep
like
an eye out for
over under. That's ugly. The 22.5, like Mikey and I have picked the under there, and it's been fine. And then like you feel stupid when you take the under. You're like, oh, this is so low. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's such a rat number, the 22.5. Like, you're like, oh, it could be 9-8 or it could be 15-14.
Me personally, I love betting the unders because I love rooting for both goaltenders, and that's just because I'm biased and I love playing goalies, so I love watching goalies make 6 saves. In particular,
Me too.
Not the same without you.
Just you though.
So what do you guys think of I know we talked a little bit about Woods chaos, but how do you feel about Archer's cannons going into this week?
Is Lyle back?
He's questionable.
Yeah. That's so because the Cannons still have the propensity to make it a game. Like Lyle, yes, he's one of the best players in the world, but he's also only one person, just like how Zed is with the Whipsnakes. He's still only one man.
Right.
I think that Lyles not being there did not make the Atlas score what it was. But I see that the Atlas offense is just that good. I'm not the biggest fan of the Cannons defense though. Mikey and I were talking about the Cannons Water Dogs in the beginning, right? We're like, oh, Water Dogs, it's easy. The Cannons defense sucks. Well, the Cannons figured out if you don't have to play defense, your defense can't hurt you.
Right.
Exactly.
Your best defense is a really good offense.
Yeah, you don't have to play defense. The defense can't hurt you.
It goes back to our defensive strategy at Duquesne. No shots on net. That way, we're all set.
Just stay with your man. Please do not slide.
Don't slide.
The rotation is not coming, so don't slide.
Nobody's going to be behind you, so don't do it.
Yeah, there's no two, so just don't slide. And it actually worked out a ton.
That just means you guys were nasty. That just means you guys are nasty on ball. So, but as far as
did have a pretty athletic defense, I'll say that. But
I like over just because the Cannons defense is suspect and
the Archers defense is suspect too.
Which typically, like, you think about like those guys individually. Matt McMahon is a great player. What's his name? Graham Hossack might as well be Bane. He's a interesting player. Very good though. And who's their
old
third?
Old man Brody Merrill's out there on the other side.
On the Cannons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, like, honestly, Cannons offense is great. I think that picking up for Carl was a smart move just because he was like got phased out of the chaos, his offensive style.
Yeah.
I think that Asher Knowlton's a great player. Stephen Rafis, great.
Yeah.
I think that the Archers offense speaks for itself. I like the over. And here's the one, like, these, you have to in betting this league, you're like, which kind of bet would I be okay with being wrong about? Right. You're like, like, what play, if I were to say this is going to happen and it doesn't, would you be like, that's okay, I'll live, it is what it is. And so the over there is something that I'd be like, okay, it is what it is.
What is it, 24.5 right now?
Huh? 24.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd take I like that one. I don't,
because of the suspect defense and
I would stay away. I think that's a rat line. I would stay away from that.
What?
The +1.5.
Oh, I'm not picking. I can't pick the side. I don't like that.
I don't like it.
And then who do we got after that?
Well, so the Archers Cannons was the afternoon, the 1 p.m. The
on Saturday.
Prime time tomorrow night is Atlas Whips, which is literally every year one of my favorite games, right? Because I know that the PLL loves to milk their storylines, and like obviously starting out, it was like, oh, that's Hopkins, Maryland. They play at Homewood. Right. It's this big deal, for the alumni. Well, that's over, right? That's been over. Like now, it's like the Whips are like the New York Yankees, the LA Lakers, the dynasty, Alabama football, the dynasty of the league, early on. Yeah. And the Atlas are like the new and up and coming, like, we are, we can replace you eventually type. And then the Atlas are they're not only looking that good, but they're also favored. Which we don't see the Whips. We don't see
that blows my mind.
We don't see the Whips underdogs very often.
No, personally, that's making me really want to take the Whip Snakes money line, just because we're not going to get them at +145 again, arguably for the rest of the year. But I can't say for certain if they're going to win this game. I definitely think there's going to be a ton of goals with both of these offenses playing the way they have been. So I like the over personally, but.
Listen. This Atlas offense alone makes me have to hammer the over every game until they tell me otherwise. I know that last week against the Cannons, the over was 24, and they scored 24 on the dot. So like they were just one shy. Mm-hmm. So I think that like the Whips offense can contribute a little bit more. The Atlas goalie plays also like I'm not the biggest fan of right now. Like I think that like Cannon was like one of the best goalies in the league. Like him and Trotter had the same trajectory. Where like they're the very obvious starter coming out of the first year of training camp, but now it's like, I don't know. JD Colarusso is also a very good goalie.
Yeah.
But like I don't think the Atlas have made the decision on who they really want to be their starter.
No. And I'm watching both of them play. Like they both are playing at the same kind of level right now. So there hasn't been a defining game yet this season that's going to give either one of them like the sticks to start the game, and like continue it out for the rest of the season. But I think this week, if whoever plays better against the Whip Snakes, initially, if they start with Concannon and he's hot, they're better off keeping him in than doing what they have been doing and splitting time between the two. TBD what actually happens, but I still love the over here. I think the offenses on both ends are going to be firing.
Yeah. Do you like a side here?
I don't usually touch any player props. I was looking through them this week.
Oh, he doesn't like a side, is what he's saying. He doesn't like either side.
No, I don't. But like, if I had to make any player prop bet this week, the only one I was considering, well, I had two really, but the one I liked would be Lyle under 4.5, just because he might not play. Like if he doesn't
play, I don't think
hits.
that's like. I remember there was in the NBA last year, where it was like a couple minutes before a game, it was like stated that like Draymond was gonna be on the court, but then immediately sub himself. Like it was for a reason. Like I forget what. And so everybody slammed his overs. So but he got in the game, recorded a foul, and then left. So that's all those unders counted. So like Lyle shows up, passes the ball one time, or like gets a ground ball, then walks off the field. And that records in the game. Because usually, like if they don't play, all the bets are void. At least like most sportsbook would be that way, right?
Yeah, you would think that, but with a lot of lacrosse bets, from what I've seen, it doesn't really have a lot of the same rules, I guess, as like any other major sport that's been offered on like DraftKings, Barstool, Fox, what have you. Like it kind of seems like a lot of these lines just they make them once the game starts, they close everything, they don't change anything, and then they're usually good to go like until the game is over. But that could change in an instant. I mean, especially with all the publicity they're getting with us talking about it like this. I can't imagine that they'll keep it like that forever.
Yeah. So Atlas Whips. Does anybody like a certain team there before we move on?
No.
Yeah.
Just the over. Just the over.
Listen, like I will be obviously I'll be rooting for the Atlas, but like I don't want to put my money on them. You know what I mean? Like, which is tough because, like, this is like the only other sport, like, other than college football, that I really have like a team that I'm invested in. And like, college football, I'm a UGA fan, and like, so like my rule was always you don't bet on your own, you don't ever bet on your own team. But like now it's just like, well, my team is one of 8, so I kind of have to. So, and then moving, we already talked about Cannons, Archers. We like the over there. Last one, Redwoods Chaos. I'm saying Chaos plus 1.5 and the under.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't think the Redwoods are going to figure it out. I truly don't.
They picked the only move they made is they picked up Salcido.
Yeah, which is okay. Great. He's going to have another fast midfielder.
He actually will beat his man, but like you need the rest of the
that doesn't solve everybody else's problem.
We're gonna say all this, right? And then Rob Pennell's gonna go like 3 and 4. Cav's gonna go for like 4. Jules is gonna have like a 3 and 2, and we're gonna look like idiots. That's what's gonna happen.
I think the Chaos have. I mean, I personally think they have a great defense.
They do.
I think they're gonna match up pretty well with the Redwoods offense.
And if Troutner's having the same kind of day,
they're gonna pick them apart.
Yeah, because like you still have like Newman coming down the pipe and letting it go. You have
Troy Ray.
Pascal had 2 2-pointers, and he's like at his mid-30s.
Well, that's the LSM play, which is electric for the Chaos, but that's like what the Redwoods are missing, like those big 2-point plays like they used to have. Like push transition, come down, step down, get your 2 points, and kind of turn the tide. They just seem to get down, and I think with a lot of these games, you probably have all seen it. Like it'll be like 6-1, but then the end of the game will be like 13-12. The Redwoods get down, and they cannot turn the tide.
Yeah, any other team in that drone game would have made it interesting toward they wouldn't have finished 12-3. It would have been like 12-10, like if we're like against any other team. I feel like,
right.
Yeah, I definitely do think that the only other team that's gotten hit with injuries this week is the Redwoods. I think they have
Isn't Perk
Anthony
out?
DeMeo's out after the first game. Ryan Lee and Joe Sexton are both out this week, with Perkovic being questionable. So if all four of those guys are definitively done, that really doesn't help the Redwoods in any sense. And that kind of makes me feel a lot better about Chaos Spread. But like Mike said before, this could be the game that we just see the Redwoods kind of start to go off for some reason. But based on the last 2 weeks, I don't think it's going to happen.
And any team can turn it on. I would give the Redwoods a couple more games before that switch flips.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think they're close enough to that. Some of the other teams that turn it on is like, yeah, they're losing by 3 or 4. The Redwoods are putting up 3 goals and getting beat by 9. That's a long way to go.
Do you remember that first year where the Chrome went like 0-10 with a score differential of 10? Like they lost 10 games in a row by 1 goal.
Yeah, in a positive. Yeah.
Well, they lost like to all these teams only by 1 goal 10 times in a row. Like this is not that. Like
No.
It's like they're, which is sucks because like on paper, all those players individually are so good. Like
that's why they remind me.
The ceiling is super high, right? But that's with all these teams. But it's a matter of can they put it together. I just don't know. The team didn't change that much from this year to last. I just don't know what is the issue.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, I didn't know that Salcido got picked up by the Redwoods, but having him back in the lineup could help a little bit with some of the chemistry that they've had, like going back to year 1 when he was one of their go-to guys in the midfield.
Mm-hmm.
They have kind of kept everything consistent from last year. So, like you said, it's very weird that they're having issues with team chemistry right now, but I think later in the season, the Redwoods are going to come out a lot like Chaos did last year, where they couldn't figure anything out initially, but then towards the end of the season, they started to turn it on, maybe sneak their way into the playoffs if they get lucky at the end of the year, and potentially make a run. But that's just a lot of speculation at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it. I think any team can do it. I don't understand what they're doing wrong, but they got a long way to go to get to where they need to be.
Yeah,
and it's interesting. That's why they remind me of that first year Atlas. You look on paper, and you're like, this team is absurd. Like it's a lock. Like
the defense is so good. They should be so good.
I know.
Oh no, that's probably very frustrating as a Woods fan, Evan.
Yeah, thank God I'm not one, but
it's tough.
Yeah. Do we have any more closing thoughts for this before we get on out of here and enjoy our what's today? Thursday.
Thursday.
I'm
just excited for the season's been great so far. It's a great watch, great product on field. I'm pumped for the Fate of the Sport, that movie.
Yeah, I heard it was great. Is it gonna actually be out? Like,
it was at the Tribeca Film Festival last night, and it's like Rabel's college roommate is like a famous director of all things, and he's the director on it. And then LeBron is whatever, like somehow monetarily supporting it.
I was gonna say LeBron James' name is like somehow wrapped up into it.
It'd be so funny if LeBron was in it and just made it about himself. Like, for a little bit. It'd be so funny.
Dude,
but
I think it's make it worth a watch.
They do love their celebrities. Like my favorite bit of all time is when any celebrity endorses lacrosse. I just tweet
on
like
Twitter.
What position would they play in lacrosse?
Yeah. I see it on Twitter a lot. It's they had a bunch at the game. Chubba Hubbard,
Luke Kuechly, Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
it was Tony Caballero. He's an actor. He played. I don't know if you listened to the post game, but he played at VMI.
Yeah,
he's an actor. But yeah, dude, they were all out. I mean, I guess Rabel's reach is becoming more and more farther to get like all these people to show up.
I know, which is good. Anybody who is like, there's a lot of complaints by old heads about like whether it's the commentating or like some rules or highlighting these like celebrities at the games. It's like, dude, I can't tell if we want lacrosse to like take off and be a well-known sport or if we just want it to die. Like some of the people
what they want is like lacrosse's like pure form to be enough to like lacrosse to grow based off like the merit of like the true, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
They don't want all this additional stuff to be the reason that lacrosse takes off.
Yeah.
But like,
But it's gotta be.
you have to be realistic. You have to adapt to the market from which you're in.
Exactly.
Also,
So
2022, not 1975. I'm sorry.
no. So it's heading in the right direction. And then they have that sixes tournament in the
That's gonna be
winter
cool.
now.
Honestly, sixes style lacrosse.
It's basically just to
fun.
compete with the box.
They need to relax, okay? Because like they could really benefit from not crossing over.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I like watching box. I'm probably like more of a fan of the PLL from playing field, but it is so annoying to know that there are players in the NLL right now that should be on PLL teams, and I just have to think from like a branding and putting your best product on the field standpoint. It's not the best look to not have, especially for like the chaos when your whole team is like legendary box players and they're the best players in your team. It'd probably be good to make the season like, work for everyone.
Yeah, they easily could. They just choose not to. And I think
don't understand
they don't want that gap between the end of the college season and the start of the PLL. Which
I don't understand that, like that competition with the NLL. At least at this point, like lacrosse is too small to be competing with.
Yeah, no, and then you need to be able to get as many eyes. And with think about it, there's going to be 19,000 people in Buffalo on Saturday. Do you think there's going to be 19,000 people at the PLL in Long Island? No,
no shot.
Like honestly, like exactly. You're the chaos, and half your team is playing for another league's championship on Saturday.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I definitely think once that's over and the chaos is back to full strength, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, they're going to be. And dude, all those guys are like, their hands are hot. They've been playing in the NLL, so they're in shape. They're in late season playoff shape. They're probably a little banged up, might need a little rest, but other than that, they're good to go.
Yeah, their hands are definitely hot, dude.
Yeah, so
like
it'll be interesting.
I think that like honestly separating the seasons and acknowledging each other would benefit both dramatically.
Yeah.
I think that it's stupid to play this you don't exist to me like game. I think it's so stupid. Like,
and I just, especially with the NLL having geographic connections because the teams are geographically located.
Yeah.
And, PLL is obviously still the tour model. I think it would be really good to, I don't know how they would do it. I'm not the expert on it, but lean into that geographic part without having to make the PLL geographically based. Like the NLL already is. So you can kind of lean into it, just like how they did at the beginning with like the college players on certain teams.
Yeah.
Like the chaos is obviously mostly the Bandits. I'm sure some of the other teams in any teams they add will continue to add box players. So you can kind of bring some of that fandom over without doing anything.
They try to
you just hate on the league, like, and are openly like not talking about it. It's kind of a bad look at this point.
They try to mix it up with like getting into emerging markets versus going back to
which makes sense. Which makes sense.
Going back to Long Island versus playing, in wherever else. You know what I mean?
Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah.
I think that they are on the right track I think the touring model honestly is like the best thing for them because like you're not limiting yourself early on.
Yeah, right now I think it's the best. I think you need to get to 12 teams before you consider geographic and probably 16 before you do it. Just because 16 you can cover enough hotbeds. And until then, I think the touring model is better. So that's my final thoughts on it.
I should look at something real quick.
Honestly, man, like even if they kept the touring model and still went with the team expansions, they don't have to play all the games in one spot.
Yeah, it's kind of split into like Western Conference and Eastern Conference. That'd be good too.
If they did that, they would really be able to get a lot more fans in a lot of different locations. Yeah. Like I know the closest area.
That's what we need.
Yeah, sure. Shit. Give me the mic.
Idea, man.
We would hop on. Well, looking at it now, the NLL has 15 teams, and then the Desert Dogs will make 16.
Yeah. So it'd be cool. I mean, I think it'd just be cool. It would make sense to like, again, Chaos is Bandits. You naturally are pulling over Bandits fans. Like you just do that with a couple more, be strategic. Like we already know Paul is manipulating the teams how he needs to drive, viewership, just like he did with going to the Cannon so he could retire. No one's making that trade. No one's ever making that trade if it isn't for Paul to retire.
Yeah, wait, what did they trade him for? Like picks?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Atlas has like a ton of picks. That's how they got Chris Gray and Jeff Teat.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not a bad trade-off in my opinion.
Do we think that Ray will pull to Brett Favre? It comes out of retirement because Greg Gorelli came out of retirement 3 separate times. So
I think Rabel could.
I can see it.
Yeah, I could see it. Yeah. Guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you see him like at all these places still doing shooting workouts and stuff like that. Like, come on now.
I mean, you got old man still got it. You gotta stay loose.
But we're not playing for anything real anymore, and we still like to do what we do.
Speak for yourself, buddy.
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about. The winner of my ULAX league gets a $50 gift card to Applebee's.
Oh,
all over that.
I'm playing for the ULAX Cup, brother. I don't know about you.
Dude, let me backtrack, dude. The ULAX Championship is the most coveted prize at all of lacrosse
above the age of 23. The ULAX Cup becomes the next largest championship.
If you're not that, Placid and Ocean City.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm playing for. I'm padding the stats this year.
The Harrisburg ULAX is gonna honestly. I'm glad that there is a. Evan doesn't know this, but we had our own independent summer men's league for a while, but then it folded. So ULAX is the first year that ULAX is in our town. So it's gonna be lit.
Your boy brought it back. Commish, you're looking at the commish.
The commish. Yeah, that's why he says he can put me on his team if he wants to.
And you always know I've been a bit crooked, so we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, all of a sudden I'm just not on a roster. Or
completely out of the league, period.
He sends me to the player pool.
Yeah. One-man player pool.
just me. He's like, oh, he's injured, I heard. He can't play. Didn't pay his fee.
I'm drunk with power.
Dude, honestly, it's going to be a competitive season. Legitimately competitive.
I'm ready for it. I'll see you there this Sunday.
Yeah. We'll talk about this after I end the record button.
Yeah.
But, boys, it's been a pleasure. Evan, thanks for hopping on. We always appreciate it. I want to make sure everybody who eventually watches this that we like, comment, and subscribe. We honestly have gotten our subscribers up in the past week or two. Shout out to Keith and Tom with the UFC picks. Evan, if you like to bet on other sports, you should watch our other show on this channel, Pickin Fights. They started the whole thing with picking winners. They pick UFC, and they pick about 80% of them right. So keep an eye out for that. Boys, boys and girls and everybody else, make sure to keep an eye out for my blog coming out very soon, tomorrow for the PLL games. And then, we keep it rolling with football coming in the fall. We have picks for baseball and all sorts of things like that. Well, all that being said, I hope that everybody has a wonderful, wonderful June weekend and everybody be safe out there.